Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ezine and today we're going to be talking about something quite random. We're going to be talking about 10 random facts about PCOS. So PCOS, I'm sure by now you should know, it is polycystic ovarian syndrome, a condition in women of childbearing age that just makes a lot of things difficult, like fertility and ovulation and just a lot of other factors. This is not a video to tell you what that is. I have videos on this channel that explains more about that, so you can go and watch all of that. And please, while you are at it, subscribe to my channel. Today what we're going to be talking about are just things that people don't talk about enough when it has to do with PCOS or with regards to PCOS. Things that the doctors always omit, when talking about PCOS, that you should know. And in no particular order, but I think I'll just start with the ones that affect me directly or have affected me in one way or another. So the first one on my list would be that when you have a child and you have PCOS, chances are you would not be able to produce sufficient breast milk to take care of your child. When I had my baby, I didn't have enough breast milk and I panicked a lot. I try not to feel bad about things as long as I put my best to it. But somewhere deep down in my heart, I just always thought I wasn't doing enough to give my child what she needed. I had no idea it had to do with polycystic ovarian syndrome and my messed up hormones. And that was what made milk not to come out as much as it should. So that's one of the things you should know that your doctor will not tell you about PCOS. Not to say this happens to a lot of women, all the women that have PCOS. No, but when you see these signs, don't blame yourself. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Number 2, you may have difficulty sleeping at night. So PCOS messes up your hormones such that a lot of things you should be doing, you just don't do them. I remember when I would tell my husband, I'm just too tired to sleep. And I'll be like, do you understand? And he says, no, he doesn't understand. When he's tired, he sleeps. And then it just occurred to me, like when I began to read, that people cannot relate to that. I thought it was normal. There are times I'm too tired to sleep. So I'm so tired, I can't sleep. Like, I know it's an irony, but PCOS does this to you. Number 3, more than 50% of women with PCOS will have to face type 2 diabetes by the age of 40 years. This is scary, right? But it's our fact. It's our reality. This is such a scary thought. It's something that I think about a lot. And it's one of the reasons I'm making changes in my lifestyle so that doesn't happen to me. What number am I? I've lost count. But anyway, next point. Women with PCOS find it more difficult to lose weight. There's a whole science behind this. And just because I'm not delving deep into this today, I will not be explaining too much. But just know that if you're finding it difficult to lose weight, or if you have PCOS and you're struggling to lose weight and it's not happening, don't beat yourself up too much. Just know PCOS is responsible. Now, don't get me wrong, you will still lose the weight, but you have to put in twice as much work as someone who doesn't have PCOS will put in before you can lose weight. Again, as a woman with PCOS gets older, there's a high chance that her menstrual period becomes more regular than it was when she was younger. Mood swings is such a thing for women with PCOS. Sometimes we cannot explain why we feel the way we do. For myself personally, there are times my head is just like a ball of cotton. It looks like I'm struggling to shift out this cotton in my head to make sense of a few things, to make sense of thoughts and memories and all of that. I didn't know it had to do with PCOS until I read it up and I found out it's one of the effects of PCOS. Terrible, but it is what it is. Another point is that women with PCOS have high rates of anxiety and depression. So because of a lot happening around us and because we're struggling to get a hold on our emotions, on our feelings, thoughts and all of that, even memory, you become anxious, and then depression is one of the things that can happen along the line. Now, I need to say at this point that this is not to say everybody will have this. Obviously, there are things we can do, there are things we can eat, there are lifestyles we can take up that will make these things less pronounced in our day-to-day living. But these are just things that can happen. I'm making this video just so that you're easy on yourself when you find yourself going through some of these things. You know where this is coming from and you know where to focus when it's time to handle it. Another very important point is that PCOS is most times misdiagnosed. Most times you have PCOS, just like in my case, and you go to the hospital, the doctor mentions many other possible diagnoses and forgets to include PCOS. Research has shown that more than 50% of women with PCOS were misdiagnosed for years. They had to go to several doctors, several hospitals before they found the proper diagnosis, or before they were diagnosed properly. So this is a thing, and that explains why if you have seen my video on my PCOS journey, you'd see that I had to live with this thing for years and years without getting a proper diagnosis until about 12 years after its first appearance in my body, before I found out what I really had. Another point is that there are 3 major things that are like criteria for having PCOS. The first one is when you have high level of androgens, which is like the testosterone hormone. Second one is irregular menstruation, irregular period or absence of your period totally. And the third one is when you have polycystic ovaries. So now, when you have 2 out of these 3 things, you have PCOS. So 2 out of these 3 things show that you have polycystic ovarian syndrome. You don't need to have all 3 of them before you get a diagnosis. And I found that this video is necessary just so you can diagnose yourself and you can start to take charge of your life early enough. Also, this is quite funny. The fact that you have PCOS doesn't mean you always have cysts. So you can have PCOS, some women have polycystic ovarian syndrome and they don't have ovarian cysts. I know it's interesting. I'm sure there's an explanation for that. I don't have that explanation. It's just the fact of PCOS. Now, the final point is that hair growth is a thing in PCOS. You find that you grow hairs in areas you would rather not grow any hair. And then the areas you want your hair to grow in, you will not see hair anywhere there. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like, comment, share. Just share your experience with me in the comment section. Let me know other facts you know about PCOS that I didn't mention here. Let's interact. Please click on the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I have any new video upload. And I'll see you on in my next video. Bye.